I welcome you to our program, our daily Bible study. I am your host, Dr. Derek A. Reeves, and let's dive right into our new series. Our 21st series is entitled Discovering Yourself, and today we want to deal with the search for the meaning of life. Let's dive right into our lesson for today. Excuse me. We want to come from Ecclesiastes chapter 12, and I want to start with verse 9. And there's much that we have to engage in to interact or to uncover what the scripture is saying here. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 9. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are as goads and as nails, fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. And further, by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. There is so much here to unpack. I doubt if we'll get through all of it, but we're going to try. And so he tells us, moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people. This is very interesting because when we look at this term taught, it is the Hebrew word lamad, and it means to teach, to exercise in, and this is wisdom. Because the preacher was wise, he was skillful in technical work, he was wise in administration, he was learned, prudent. And so this covers a lot of ground of being wise. And so he still, even though he was wise, and even though he was learned, even though he was studied, he still yet, besides all of this, gave time and attention to continue in instructing the people. And so he taught the people. He gave them the capacity to be trained. He poured into them, and he gave them access to himself so he could teach them knowledge. Here, this term knowledge is a pictogram, is a picture of a door and a picture of an eye. And so through the eyes, one experiences the world and learns from it. Combine these pictures together and they mean the door of the eye. And so it indicates insight and it indicates experience. And this experience is gained through visual observation. So knowledge is achieved through these experiences of the sight, of the senses. And so he's speaking now about sensory knowledge, that which you experience through your senses. And so he indicates then that this preacher, and many believe that it is Solomon, well, I don't want to get into this at this time or at this juncture, but here this man has taught out of his wisdom. He has taught knowledge to the people. He has enabled them to experience things. And yea, he gave good heed. And here, this is very important as well, because when we talk about giving good heed, it's talking about he listened to them. He was obedient to God. He was to hear or listen to prayers of God. And so he understood spirituality as well. He understood the necessity of speaking with God and speaking with the people and hearing God and hearing the people, so he might understand and bring to them the understanding of what's going on in their lives. And so the scripture says he gave good heed, he listened, and he sought out. And here he's seeking knowledge. Here the ancient Hebrew pictograph deals with digging, search or to seek for something, utilizing much strength and effort, as if digging to find something in the ground. And so it comes from the word chakar, and it means to search, search for, seek out, examine, or to investigate. And so it's talking about examining thoroughly. And so through the listening of individuals, through inquiry, and through searching and seeking, not just in prayer, but also examining the self. And so he sought out, he explored to find knowledge and reason and purpose and set in order. Here we find that he begins to equalize, to make straight. He gathers all the information. He gathers all the wisdom, all of his experiences, and he set in order many proverbs. And this term, again from the Hebrew, is a term rabbah, and it means to be or become great, be or become many. And so by reference or inference, it talks about he's setting together a multiplicity or an abundance of proverbs. Now here, Proverbs, mashal, it deals with dominion that one rules over, also comparison of things as a rule of measurement, or much like a maxim, a proverbial statement of wisdom and knowledge. It is, the word mashal is a word for power that deals with dominion. And so it talks about those things, those principles by which one's life should be governed, by which one's life should be structured and centered around to achieve what is legal, to achieve what are the rules of observance, to achieve the protocols, and to achieve those necessary things to comply to a kingdom. And so in this one verse, he deals with a man who is searching, a man who searches fervently to understand, a man who is teaching, a man who is sharing his wisdom, bringing people into access that they might know what he knows. And in spite of him being tired, in spite of him being weary, he yet teaches the people knowledge. He gives to them understanding. He's listening to them. And in many cases, the individuals are not listening to themselves. And so he seeks out answers, and he sets in order many proverbs, maxims, or I'll say philosophical principles of life. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words. He's now searching on words to explain what it is he has gotten and what it is he's seeking to give. And that which was written was upright, even words of truth. And so here you see the scenario: an individual is seeking to understand life, seeking to hear the problems and the concepts that are going through the minds of others. And he searches for the exact words that will meet their needs. He's compiling all this information because people are perplexed. People are going through specific things, not knowing why they are, who they are, what are their obligations, what are their reasons for existing, and how do you walk into that which is meaningful. And so we covered this in a lesson before, that meaning deals with inferences of purpose. It is defining purpose, and the purpose for something gives them the structured meaning and the pathway by which they are to enter in and to fulfill destiny. And so this wise preacher, this wise proclaimer of the wisdom of God, searches, seeks, discovers, while he's listening, discovers how he can speak a word of knowledge that will give them understanding of their meaning, their purpose. I am all out of time, and we will pick up next time in our daily Bible study. I am your host, Dr. Derek A. Reeves, and I thank you for joining me. Until next time.